After 6 straight days of free advertising for the sponsors of the sprinters teams, Stage 7 was the cue for the Tour favourites to show themselves. The only slight drawback being that this year no one was quite sure who the Tour favourites were, including the riders themselves. Either way, we were about to find out. It was the time trial. The route was 52 rolling kilometres, starting in Saint-Grégoire, circling out into the country and then back into Rennes. And the man who set the early pace, just as he did in the prologue back in Strasbourg, was Sebastian Lang. The German time trial champion came round in 1 hour, 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Some riders were going out too fast and fading after the first checkpoint. CSC's Bobby Julich didn't even reach it, misjudging his speed at this roundabout and breaking his wrist as he broke his fall. His fellow American Levi Leipheimer seemed to have crashed internally, coming in over 5 minutes behind Lang's pace, his status as a Tour contender suddenly looking hugely overinflated. But it was turning into that kind of day. As we join the action, Lang's time is still the best, but T-Mobile's Ukrainian, the former world time trial champion Sergei Honchar, is setting the pace at the checkpoints out on the course.
Well, this is Sergei Honchar racing up, but tunneling in that gear that makes your legs ache just to watch him here as Honchar pumps on, and it looks to me as though it is going to be a new best time. It is by a minute over Menchov. That is amazing.
He is a big, strong rider. It's the weirdest position in the sport of individual time trialing. It would not normally work, but it works very well for him. He's absolutely powerful, battling the machine. As you say, Phil, it does even hurt me looking at him go like that, but a minute faster than anybody else at this point. He could very well be the new leader tonight.
Here comes the arrival of Andreas Kloden, once rocking the ship at the first check, slowly been slipping away and was only 5th at the last check. As he races up towards the line here, watch the clock just ticking down, 4th place, and he finishes well, 4th place at the moment.
This now is Floyd Landis. He's looking at challenging the time of Sergei Honchar. Honchar was the man with the fastest time at that point. Landis has gone outside of that. The time of Honchar at this point was 43 minutes and 50 seconds, but he is giving out a massive beating to everybody else in the individual time trial here this afternoon. So Landis looking at 2nd place. He's probably going to go through the time check faster than he has gone through the time check faster than Menchov. 2nd time there, losing 41 seconds at this point, 44 minutes and 32 seconds. 2nd best time then for the man from originally Pennsylvania, now who lives in California, Floyd Landis. 2nd best time for him. This is Patrick Sinkiewicz. He is not going to dethrone Sebastian Lang either, because he's outside of that time. But as a good climber, he'll be fairly happy with a performance like this.
I tell you what, T-Mobile are having a wonderful day here on the Tour de France. They're riding, all of the men are coming in well with time trial performances.
Here are the 2 big sprinters at the back end of the race. These are the last 2 men to start. They've had a great time over the first week. Robin McEwen getting 3 wins. Tom Bonan not getting a win, but being consistent and wearing the yellow jersey.
This man has won 5 time trial stages of the Tour of Italy. He's led the Tour of Italy. He's never won a time trial of the Tour de France. He's never led the Tour de France, and both could be the occasion today. Honchar races up to the line now. He's 61 minutes, plenty of time. He can cruise home now. Sebastian Lang can take time out. He won't be on the winner's podium today as the former world champion races up the home straight. He can see the clock. He knows every second counts. The seconds counting as to whether he will lead this race tonight. He comes in and the crowd give him a cheer. 1:1:43. Best time by an awful long way.
Michael Rogers looking at the time check at 36.5 kilometers covered. Honchar was the fastest rider there in 43 minutes 50 seconds. Michael Rogers was 7th, 1 minute and 16 in arrears, and he was looking at the day of trying to take the yellow jersey, but once again he's being forced away from the top of the leaderboard by the incredible domination of this individual time trial by Sergei Honchar.
Well, the situation is a very strange one today. And here comes Landis, and he's not too far behind Carpets either. So it's been a very, very good ride. Remember, he's had a flat tire. He certainly had the bicycle change. That story will unfold later. But right now, he never let it faze him at all, because he is best of the rest today. This has been an extraordinarily good ride by Floyd Landis, while most of the Americans seem to have slipped away today in some way or another. Landis coming up. Lang is the time he's aiming at. He should beat that as he races up. Going to have to be quick. Otherwise, he'll be slotting behind, but he comes up to the line as he hits the... No, he's not going to make... Yes, he is. Second place for Floyd Landis, but exactly a minute. Probably rounded up, it'll be 61 seconds slower than Sergei Honchar. Honchar will now win the time trial today. His first ever victory on a time trial or any stage of the Tour de France. And I think, Paul, he'll get the yellow jersey as well. Now the arrival of the world champion. Tell by his face it's been a hard day out there today for just about every one of the 170 riders. We started with 171. Sadly, we've lost Bobby Julich of the United States along the way. Nasty crash for Bobby, and he may have a broken wrist. Anyway, we're looking now at the arrival of the world champion here. This is Larson he's aiming at. He might just slip inside Larson. He was up on him at the last check by just 4 seconds as he held it as he races for that 4th place. He's just about going to scrape in, so he's kept his advantage over the time trial champion of Sweden, and he comes home. The world champion is 4th today, and no yellow jersey.
No yellow jersey for the yellow jersey either. Tom Burnham actually put in a decent ride to finish 41st, but he knew he was never going to hang on to the race lead. The final result looked like this. Sergei Honchar first, a minute and 1 second ahead of Floyd Landis, with Sebastian Lang's early time holding up well for 3rd, and Michael Rogers 4th, a minute and 24 back. Behind another early pace setter, Gustav Larsson, Patrick Sinkovits gave T-Mobile 3 of the top 6 times. So the first Ukrainian race leader in Tour history. And once he calmed down, he agreed a common language with Matt Rendell, who spoke to him in Italian.
Maglia gialla, vittoria di tappa, una felicità inaspettata.
Sì, diciamo, non è che mi aspettato questo. Sì, aspettavo un bel risultato, può darsi un bel piazzamento, vittoria, un po' meno. Invece è riuscito.
Dai, un vecchione come te, una giornata così deve essere qualcosa di molto speciale.
Non è vecchione, sono giovane dentro. Dai. No dai, sono felice, tanto felice. Può darsi ancora non rendo conto cosa ho combinato, però dai.
Well, there was a fair bit of sinking in to do, not least at the T-Mobile Team Hotel, because the time trial had given them 4 of the top 6 places in the overall standings. Honchar first, Rogers and Sinkovits 3rd and 4th, and Andreas Klöden 6th. Splitting them, Floyd Landis and the impressive young German Gerolsteiner rider Markus Furten. Bunched together just outside the top 6 were 2 Russians, Vladimir Karpits and Denis Menchov, either side of Australia's Cadel Evans. George Hincapie started the day as favourite to mount the Discovery Team's challenge, but he ended it 4 places and 20 seconds behind his colleague Paolo Savoldelli. A minute behind Hincapie was Discovery's 3rd weapon, Jaroslav Popovic, a couple of spots ahead of David Miller, who didn't ride as well as he'd have liked. But the big losers of the day were Iban Mayo, now 58th, 6 minutes 11 down, and Levi Leipheimer, another 6 seconds behind him. Bradley Wiggins' ride moved him up 10 places. Well, T-Mobile invested time, money and training camp bonding sessions this off-season in the project of building a team with which Jan Ullrich could win the Tour. When Ullrich exited stage left in the direction of his lawyer to defend himself against doping allegations, the 8 members of his supporting cast could have lost morale and cohesion. Instead, they pulled out the most audacious road stage win of the Tour in Matthias Kessler's perfectly timed attack, and ended the first week with half the team in position to do the job Jan Ullrich came to do. Their only problem was deciding who was the boss.
I think Andreas Klöden's in good shape. My shape's good. Sergei's obviously in good shape. We don't know how he's going to get through the mountains. I don't know how I'm going to get through the mountains. We're hoping Klöden gets through the mountains really well. I really do see at the end of the race that Andreas will be the leader. But you know, anything can happen in the meantime, and I'm sure a few surprises will come out.